Hello second graders. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to complete today's activity, where you're going to be using Body Benchmark to estimate the length of different objects. And then you're also going to use a measuring tool to measure the object and get the more accurate measurement. So even though there's 4 listed on your worksheet, you're going to do all 4. I'm going to choose 2 to do, one on the smaller side, one on the longer side, just to give you an idea of how to complete this assignment. So the first thing I want to go over is that body benchmarks. So just as a reminder, we spoke about body benchmarks on Tuesday. So a body benchmark, for example, is something on your body that is roughly the size of that measurement. So if we're talking about inches today for this activity, the body benchmark that we found that is roughly an inch is your knuckle, which is the bendy part of your finger, where the finger bends, from one side to the other. So the width of your knuckle is roughly an inch. So we're going to be using that to estimate the length of the different objects. Then we're going to be using a measurement tool. As we looked at, there are different types of tools for measuring, but I'm going to be using a ruler today, and I suggest you do the same. So this is a 6-inch ruler. This is the inches portion here. It's on the smaller side, and I have an object that's bigger than 6 inches, so I'm not going to be using a 6-inch ruler. I suggest if you have at home a 12-inch ruler, which is the larger one, grab that, because that's what I'm going to be using. This is actually my cute little Winnie the Pooh ruler from when I was your age. So this ruler here is in both centimeters and inches. Most rulers are, so don't get confused. Just look for the little word that says inches. It'll also have cm, which is an abbreviation for centimeters. So you'll see that the inches are more spread apart than the centimeters. That can be helpful to remind you to use that side. Now that we've got that organized, this might look familiar to you. This is going to, if you looked at the activity portion, this is what your activity entails today. So you're going to estimate using body benchmark, okay? So that means we're not getting the accurate measurement, but we are trying to see if it comes close. So I'm actually really curious to see how close the measures are for this activity. So what you're going to make sure to do is put your knuckle, because that's what we're using to measure an inch, all the way over here to the tip of the marker. So I'm using this marker today. So make sure, I'm going to do it flat so that it's a bit easier to work with. So I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to make sure I don't overlap and count until I figure out how many knuckle widths this marker is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm getting 6. So what I would do is I would just, you're going to be using the draw tool, so you could type in or draw digitally, but I could also write 6 inches. Okay, hopefully you can see that. It's a bit unclear because it's pencil. So 6 inches is what I got when I used my knuckle to measure the marker. So I'm curious to see what I will get when I use a ruler. So let's see. Let me get another color so I can differentiate. I'm going to be very careful when measuring with my ruler because there's some things you need to keep in mind to have an accurate measurement. So for example, I put my object down flat, this way I have space to work, and I'm going to make sure I line up the 0 inches, the last line that you see over there, with the end of my marker. That's going to ensure that this measurement is accurate. All right, then I'm going to make sure that the marker is sitting flatly on top of my ruler so that I get as close a measure as possible. Now, I look to see at the other end of the marker what number is written there. That's going to tell me how many inches my object is. So I see where there's a 4 over there. So this marker is 4 inches long. I was kind of close, but not super close to my body benchmark. So it was about 2 inches off, but look at that. It's not the worst estimate. So I'm going to do this again with a book. The book is a bit longer, so it's going to take me a bit longer to count using my knuckle, to measure using my knuckle. So the length of the book, let me see if I can zoom out a bit here. The length of my book is going to be, hold on, let me raise my camera a bit. Give me a second, there we go. The width is from side to side, the measure. So the length is going to be the longer part up and down here. So I'm going to be measuring that part. I'm actually going to turn the book so it's easier for you to see. And I'm going to use that knuckle measurement again, the width of my knuckle, to measure one end of the length of the book to the other. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm getting about 11 inches when I estimate using my body benchmark. So I'm going to write down in the length of book section 11 inches where my body benchmark column is. Interesting. I'm trying to see if that is going to get me close. Let's see. So I'm going to now take my book, grab my ruler, make sure I'm in the inches section. Very important. You don't want to be measuring in centimeters today. We'll be doing that next week. Don't worry. And then I'm going to make sure that one end of my book is at the 0 mark exactly. And then I'm going to look over here to see what whole number is at the end of my book. And I see that's 9 inches in length. So I was, once again, quite close, but a little bit off. So when I actually used a ruler to measure my book, I got 9 inches. So that's 2 inches off from when using my knuckle, just like I was 2 inches off when using the marker. So I hope you have fun with this activity and have fun practicing. Make sure to come back to this video if you need extra support in measuring. My biggest reminder is to remember to use the inches section on your ruler. Make sure to look for that word inches, or IN is the abbreviation. Also, line your item up with the 0. One end of the item has to be at the 0, and then straighten the item with your ruler and look at the other end. That'll be how many inches the item measures. So have fun with this, and I'll see you tomorrow to talk about centimeters and meters.